First of all, I'd just like to say this is really cool.
Look, can we just talk about something else, please?
Since it's already quiet, I guess we might as well start the team meeting.
Greetings, little big leaguers, wherever you're listening or watching, and welcome to episode number 14 of the Little Big Fantasy League podcast. Last episode, Leo and Carter held down the fort in duos, answering some questions and recapping the latest and greatest from the league. Now it's week 22. The regular season is officially over, and you know what that means. It's time to cue the music as playoffs are underway. Today, we'll be breaking down matchups, making some predictions, and playing more. Full crew is back in action. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Feels good to be back. Feels like it's been forever, so I'm glad to be back on and discuss some baseball.
Yeah, got the whole crew on now. Feels good.
Sure does. I'm feeling like Bon Jovi living on a prayer out here. Definitely a little under the weather, but you know, this I feel like is what the doctor ordered up.
Hopefully, we can lift your spirits a little bit. But yeah, now that the regular season is over, I think we're just going to quickly give some general thoughts about how we thought the season went, maybe as a league or as just your own team, or I don't know. Summer's winding down. We're kind of coming down to the end of the MLB season too. So I don't know, Joe, what are you thinking? How was this year?
Well, in terms of the league, I definitely think there were surprises, some things we definitely expected. Things we definitely expected, I think, looking at the bottom of the leaderboard here, Justice takes home that award. Kind of figured that would happen. Cade, not too far behind him. Again, kind of expected that. Tom, with what he was dealt, I think he made some good moves this year, but I understand that he was at the bottom. I kind of figured that would probably happen taking on a new team in his first year, kind of getting acclimated to everything. But definitely some shocks. Carter making the playoffs, that's always good to see. I know last year he fell just short, so this year him being in the playoffs, love to see it. I think Kyle turned out a great year. Definitely not something I was necessarily expecting, but good for him. Happy for him. Yeah, I think in terms of my team, there were some really bad weeks in there, but I also had some good weeks. So just hoping to have some good weeks in the playoffs and hopefully make it pretty far.
Good stuff, Joe. What about you, Carter?
Yeah, like Joe said, I was excited about the playoffs. I think that does fall under the shocker category there. But like he said though too, there's some teams in there that, yeah, it's absolutely no surprise that they made it, and also not a surprise that they didn't make it. Between the tops and the bottoms there. Yeah, I had some interesting weeks too there. Sometimes fell short both pitching and bats, so sometimes really went ahead. So I have kind of a middle score there as well. But yeah, overall though, I'm kind of shocked where I am. But overall with the league, what I'm looking at here at the standings, I mean, it seems pretty evenly to where I would have predicted it. I think the biggest surprise would have been Walt. I feel like Walt's team should be quite a bit higher than where he sort of stood. He probably should have made the playoffs there, but other than that, not too many surprises there.
Yeah, I generally agree with you guys too. I think just the league in general, like all of the trades that happened this year definitely made it fun. I mean, doing the podcast just in general definitely put a lot of energy into the league, and just kind of building up a lot of different things throughout the season. And I mean, personally, it was fun. I had a very lucky year, I think, based on all the injuries. But yeah, I'm excited to get through the playoffs here, but we'll see how everything rolls out. Leo, any final thoughts?
feel like if I had to sum up this year as a metaphor, I would sum it up as Emmanuel Classe's leave of absence, unexpected. We saw some things, like Cutter mentioned, Walt not making the playoffs, unexpected. So many trades. I don't think anybody expected there to be so many trades in the league after only having two last year. Gosh, I think we got up to at least 10. I'll have to like go and track all of them. I think I'm a little bit behind on tracking in the Excel sheet, but yeah, just a lot of unexpected things happened. Very tight for the most part in the league. I mean, you look at the final standings, and three teams finish at 13 and 8. Right there in the middle, 3 through 5. So very close matchups that often came down to the wire for sure. And so yeah, like Emmanuel Clase, being on his leave of absence for this whole gambling scandal, nobody expected that to happen. It's the same thing right here in the LBFL. It's a competitive league. You never know what's going to happen next, and we've got some really good playoff matchups, I think. And it really is going to come down to that last matchup, and that's how it has been all season. I mean, you've seen how a team like Walt, who puts up a lot of points, doesn't win all of his matchups, right? And then there's other teams that maybe collectively throughout the year didn't put up as many total points, but you know were able to sneak by and win those matchups. So it just shows you that anybody has a chance in this league. There's so many moves to be made, and it's been a fantastic year, boys.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, I like the thought of just it being unexpected. I'm wondering, like, if you guys can think off the top of your head, what was like the most unexpected move that was made this year? Maybe a trade or anything. It's kind of on the spot, but
Hmm, tough
Um,
question.
yeah, I'd have to say just how many call-ups there were from the stash so early on in the season. It definitely seemed like it was going to be more of like a mid-season type of thing where, you're, kind of down in the dumps and you need to grab a couple players to kind of revitalize the roster. But I mean, I think like the Sasaki move, like right away, kind of set the tone for how the stash would be used. And then Joe kind of following up right behind Tom with calling up Jacob Wilson pretty early, and also like Nick Kurtz. I'm really surprised at how valuable some of those contributions from the stash have been. It seemed like more of a long-term type of thing, like, come through the system, minor league roster, but a lot of these guys have been called up and have really helped out some rosters this year.
yeah, it seems like that has been like the wild card this year that we didn't really know what it was going to look like. So yeah, it's interesting seeing that play out for the first time.
Yeah, I definitely think, our first year doing the stash, I didn't really know what to expect going into it, how to draft my stash, things like that. And I don't know where my team would be without the stash. I mean, without the contributions that I got from Jacob Wilson and now especially Nick Kurtz. I think my team could look completely different. I think Walt may have possibly overtaken me and taken that last playoff spot. Um, I definitely think without the stash, I'd probably be sitting in seventh place at the highest. So definitely um, a huge thing for me this year.
Yeah, I, it's been really cool to see how the stash draft has played out this year since it is our first year, like you said, and yeah, it's played super well for Joe. It's awesome to see his stash really come to life there. Because I mean, you can make the argument sort of on the other side where like people, I think it was maybe Justice that had like Christian Camp out, and he was like lights out at the beginning of the season. And we were thinking, like he should call him up and stuff, and then he kind of fizzled out there and went back to AAA and stuff. So like some of them just don't pan out, and then there's some others like Joe's that just yeah just does super well. So it's definitely adds a level of excitement to the lead.
Yeah, and I think there's still so much to be played out from it. There's a lot of guys that haven't been added to the team, so that's definitely going to keep coming. Yeah. Any other surprises, or that you guys think that's the biggest one?
I
I
mean,
think,
just yeah.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like Leo had mentioned earlier, just the amount of trades that we had this year. I wouldn't say necessarily one trade sticks out in my eyes is more surprising than the others, but just the sheer amount of willingness from pretty much everyone in the league to get a deal done, or at least attempt to get a deal done, talk about different, scenarios and everything like that. I mean, I remember at the first week of Leo were throwing back ideas of a trade. Nothing even came of it, but just our willingness to have that dialogue, that conversation back and forth was definitely something I think this league needed. So I'm glad that that started to happen this year for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that was really lacking last season, and it's very much more comfortable this season to do that.
Definitely.
Cool beans. All right. So after that recap, we'll kind of jump into some playoff matchups. So the first matchup we can jump into, why don't we go to a little bit of a rival rematch here? We got Joe versus John. We got Kerry Bonds versus the Detroit Mariners. We have one half of that matchup here tonight. Joe,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna give you the floor, man.
I did not even know John was my opponent until I woke up this morning. I was not thinking that there were buys for some reason, so I'm like, well, I'm the 6th seed. I guess that means I'm playing the 1 seed. And then I looked and I was playing John, and I'm like, what? I was like, how did that work out? Yeah, I forgot the first 2 seeds there had buys. So definitely excited about the matchup. After day one, after Monday, I had a slight lead on him, about a 40-point lead. Nothing crazy. I mean, that can be squashed pretty quickly. I haven't really checked too much as the games are playing out right now. I did look. He had Kershaw starting. I had Crochet starting. Kershaw did not last super long in the game. I believe he gave up 4 runs to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Then I looked at Crochet, who's going against the Indians, or the Guardians, I should say, and he, I believe, allowed 7 runs. So not a not a good start from one of my aces. A guy that I really need to pull through, considering Zach Wheeler's done for the year. So it's going to be interesting the way this one shakes out. He is projected more points. I believe going into today, he was projected like 720. I was projected about 640. And then Nick Lodolo got scratched for tonight. So that projection went down even further to about 620. Um, I don't know if John's pulling some shit by giving Nick Lodolo an illness. Um, I don't know if he had something to do with that. I think it's completely possible, and I don't think we rule that out from the commissioner. So that would be devastating to find out if that happened. But I wish him the best, and may the best man win.
This eerily feels very undisputed in a way, this matchup coming back to the surface. It's no surprise. I feel like that Joe and John are going at it in this marquee matchup. I mean, this is what we pay our dues for, is to be able to, witness a matchup like this. I only wish that the commissioner could have joined us tonight, because I feel like it would have called for another special segment of Joe and John undisputed. But, that's just not the reality of the situation. Tonight, once again, John will not get to defend himself, I guess you could say. But looking at this matchup, it's really interesting seeing the early lead that Joe has gotten off to. For some reason, there are several teams that are just not putting up strong points to start the week here. It's kind of that time of year where some guys start to get rest days. You see a few injuries pop up that maybe you would pitch through in the middle of the season, but teams don't want to take a chance this late in the year. So just throw him on the 10 day or the 15 day and save his arm for later on. So John only putting up like 57 to start the week here. is, is tough. I think it still gives Joe a chance, but I really think it's going to come down to Saturday, where John has one, two, three, four, five pitchers going. He's got Bryce Miller, Lucas Giolito, Trevor Rogers, Jack Flaherty, and Max Scherzer. I truly think it's going to come down to pitching. It doesn't look like John has any bench bats, so you're not playing the whole game of, "Ooh, who do I put in the util spots?" He doesn't have to do that. It really is going to come down, I think, to his pitching.
Yeah, I did not look ahead to see that he had those five guys going on Saturday, but quite honestly, um, I'm really not worried about Flaherty the way he's been pitching for the Tigers. So I'm pretty much going to call John and say as four pitchers because Flaherty will get minimal points, if not negative. So I'm going to wipe that one off the board for him. Scherzer, believe, would be coming back from an injury. So I'm going to doubt that they let him on a long leash there. I would imagine it's going to be a relatively short start for him. The other names, Rogers. The best Rogers I know is Carter, so not too worried
Right.
about that one. Who else did we have in there that I missed?
Uh,
Miller.
Giolito, Miller,
Giolito, Bigfoot, if you will. I feel like he's had a kind of up and down year. Not too worried about that. Last one was.
Bryce Miller.
Bryce Miller.
Has he been healthy, or is he just now coming back from an injury, or has he made a couple starts
He's
since
made a
then?
few starts, but man, has he had a bad year when he's been healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But he is one of those guys I will say that can put up a great start if he really gets things going. So definitely should be interesting. I would like to have John on next week's podcast if he's listening to this, win or lose from either of us. Definitely like to have him on and talk about the outcome of this one.
I I think it's important to keep in mind not just the amount of pitchers starting like on a day like that, but like their matchups. Because like there's some kind of like decent ones like Flaherty against like the White Sox, like that's a super good
Ooh.
matchup for him. Then the Diamondbacks and the Braves, that's decent. But then you have Scherzer against the Yankees and Rogers against the Dodgers, which could be super, super dicey. I think that's important to keep in mind too. Exactly the teams that who they're facing because that can get some negative points there for sure, and can delete entire pitching outings that are good on your team. So yeah,
That is true. That is
Yeah,
a very good.
I can be a testament from this past week. I was projected to beat Joe by like 100 points at the beginning of the week and ended up losing. So anything can happen, right? So I won't count Joe out at all this week, and who knows what will happen Saturday or the other days as well. So good stuff
I
there.
had I had a total brain fart last week. I thought the playoffs started last week. And so I'm playing John, and I'm like, "Oh, first round of the playoffs. All right." Like I'm matched up against John, and then like I finally clicked on like view all matchups, and I like scrolled the next week, and I was like, "Oh, I'm like this isn't even the playoffs. This is last week. All the playoff, all the playoff teams were already decided." So I was like, "This matchup doesn't even really matter that much." I was all excited when I was winning. I was like, "Nice, I'm winning the first round of the playoffs," and I was like, "This doesn't even." Really matter. I mean, I'm gonna stay the sixth seed, so it is what it is.
No, it mattered, man, because you pushed me up to that first spot in the regular season standing. So I do take the regular season crown. It's kind of like Javi Baez wearing a crown again. I feel the same way. Luke Collins heartthrobers wear a crown again.
Yeah, I'll retract what I said. It didn't matter for me at all. I got nothing out of it. I was gonna stay six no matter what.
I think Leo owes you a beer, is what
Yeah,
we're saying here.
that's really what I'm getting out of this conversation.
I'll give you a brew. I'll give you a
All right,
brew.
all right, sounds good.
Just as long as you promise not to feed those new turtles with it.
I trust me. I'm cleaning the tank.
Awesome. Well, any predictions from the rest of the guys on who will win this week's matchup between Joe and John.
It's tough. Like I said, I think it really comes down to pitching. I mean,
It's tough.
it's hard to look past the projections. I'm gonna give Joe the benefit of the doubt just because he's been so loyal to this podcast, and I think the commissioner's been slacking a little bit on some of the rules and having to go in last week and check the rule book. And I was ultimately the one that found the rule that we were needing to, confirm when Cade accidentally picked up Roman Anthony, like the top
Yeah, we need
prospect
to
by
talk about
far
that
to
a little bit.
grab.
Yeah.
So I'll give Joe the benefit of the doubt, and would like to see him move on to week 23.
Carter.
Oh man, it's it's uh it's really 50-50 me. I might give Joe a little bit of that edge too. Looking at this, Jerkson Profar went on paternity leave, so in John doesn't have any bench bats, so that's gonna be a hole in his lineup as well. So yeah, that makes even a more weakness for Joe to take advantage of there. So um, yeah, I don't know. Looking at these two, and Joe just got Kurtz back. Kurtz was day to day for a while, right, Joe, for a few days, and you just got him back.
Yeah, he was, I think he was out 3 games. So I think he missed Saturday, Sunday, and yesterday. He's just now back today. And as soon as he comes back, instant impact. He's got a double and an RBI today.
Yep.
What's hurting me, I just took a quick look here. So Crochet did end negative on the night. And Chris Paddock is currently just getting shelled in the Tigers game.
Oh,
So definitely wish I would have left him on the bench, but I was like, I saw the news that he was going to be coming out of the bullpen. I'm like, oh, it's probably the best for Chris Paddock. He has, usually at least a couple good innings and one bad inning that kind of throws him off. But I completely take that move back. He's up to negative 20. So that one's going to hurt if I lose by about 20. I'm going to be sending some very angry letters to Paddock, I think.
And on that note, I'll pick John.
that is
I don't
tough.
blame you. No blame here whatsoever because they're just leaving him in the game to get
Yeah,
to.
why are they leaving
Yeah.
him in?
Yeah, I don't know, 6 earned
Either
runs.
him or a position player at this point, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it's
still can.
crazy.
So
Oh well.
What are they doing leaving him in? I'm looking at the jeez, I
All
don't.
right.
Maybe
Ugh.
he's just trying to like pad his stats.
yeah, well, padding the bad ones, that's for sure.
So Carter has me versus John in the semis, and so does Joe, and so does Leo. Oh wait, no, Joe is Joe versus versus me.
It's a
And
matchup I'd like to see. I'd like to make it there. That's for sure.
yeah, alrighty. Well, that's it for that matchup. Next one, we got two 13-8 teams going at it between Carter and Kyle. Carter, I'll also give you the floor. Why don't you break down your matchup this week?
Um, so this was interesting too because I didn't think I'd get Kyle back to back there. So this is
Oh, gee.
if anything, this is like his revenge match here. And uh, I mean, personally, I'm not too confident. I think he will come out on top there. He's got a super good team, and I just got super lucky last week with like a lot of the two-star pitchers. That's what like really boosted my team last week when I won, and I really don't have that many this week. And the ones that I did already have started not so well. So yeah, I don't think I'm winning this one, boys. But just surprised in general to even make it to playoffs. So I'm happy. I'm happy regardless if I lose this week. But yeah.
Man, you don't give yourself enough credit. I'm picking your team to beat Kyle. Looking at the roster here, I know he's got some really good hitters as we talked about last week, just kind of breaking down how he's been a second half team, obviously. But he's got two bench bats. There are actually three bench bats. I don't know how well that plays in the playoffs. Personally, I think three's a little much. I go max of two. And he also has Mackenzie Gore in a bench spot, even though he's on 15-day IL. I don't think he's going to be returning this week. It looks like he just played catch today. So, he's going to be far out from returning at this point. And so I think similar to Joe and John's matchup, it truly is going to come down to pitching here. But Carter, with the strong start that you've gotten off to this week, strong amount of points would suggest that you're going to have a lot of pitchers still with the double start, or at least a few. And then, I mean, come on, you can't say enough good things about Noah McLean. The numbers that he's been able to put up, including a strong start against the Tigers tonight, he's going to end up with probably about 30 points after he gets the win. And that was a fantastic addition for you. So to me, I think Kyle has the better lineup, but overall, I think Carter, you're in a better position from a pitching standpoint to go ahead and beat Kyle and move on to the next round.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking a look at it here. Kyle's fallen early, so that's always good for Carter. Carter's got a solid lead so far built up. The projection's super close. Carter's just edging out in the projection. I'm gonna stamp this one that next round is gonna be Leo versus Carter. I can definitely see a Carter pulling out that win, um, and moving on.
And I quite honestly, I don't want to face Carter's team. He I actually fear Carter's team. Like I'm not just saying that because you're on here. Like you did beat me a few weeks ago, and truly, I think anything can happen in the playoffs. I think it's definitely one of those leagues where you just got to get to the championship, and the championship is 2 weeks long. So anything can happen in the championship, but even more so in a weekly matchup, it can go either person's way. I mean, look, speaking from experience and winning it all last year, there has to be a little bit of luck involved. You can put together a great roster, it can look great on paper, but you really don't know if these teams are going to shut down their pitchers, save them for the postseason, like I talked about earlier. You don't know if a couple hitters are going to end up on the IL. And like personally, my strategy is pretty risky. I don't have, an abundance of bench bats to be able to just slot in for a guy that gets injured. So in a certain extent, it's kind of like Joe playing pull tabs. You might get lucky and win a little bit of money, but you might go home, in the red.
That's usually how it ends, is going home in the red. So your lesson up there, kids.
Yeah, all good points. I feel like the X factor for Kyle is definitely another Kyle Schwarber. I mean, the amount of points,
Yeah.
was that last week he hit 4 home runs in the
Yeah,
game?
that was
So,
Yeah.
that was insane.
That was
yeah.
ridiculous.
So
I'm
it's like,
scared. I'm
who
scared.
knows? It's very scary, like that he can just pull that out of a hat whenever he wants, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like that's his X factor. If you had to pick an X factor for this week for you, Carter, who's the guy you need to show up?
Ooh, who's the guy I need to show up? If I need a guy to show up, it'd probably be Gunnar Henderson because he's been pretty crappy like the past couple of days here. So if I need a home run or two, it'd be probably from him there. So I feel like he's been a little slacking lately for what I sort of want him to be at this time of the season. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a big name. I'll just lock in. I'll even it out. So I'll pick Kyle for this week. But yeah, I don't know. It could go either way. Both 13-8. So cool.
Yeah. Thanks for the praise, guys. I appreciate it.
Alrighty. So up next is bye week. No, that's not Walt. It's me and JD, or me and Leo. It's me and Leo. We had bye weeks this week, so we're chilling. We're sitting pretty.
It feels nice. And
It does
honestly,
feel nice.
I did not
A break.
expect to be playing against Walt's team bye week.
It's a match if you both could lose.
Yeah, who knows? But okay, so going into the semifinal prediction. So right now, Carter has it as me versus Joe and Leo versus Kyle. Leo has me versus Joe, Leo versus Carter. Joe has me versus Joe, Leo versus Carter. And then I have me versus John, Leo versus Carter, or Kyle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the tough thing about these is, like I said, they could go either way. So
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start with Carter. You have the semifinals of me versus Joe and Leo versus Kyle. If you had to pick between those four players, those four teams, who comes out to the finals?
Okay. Um. So JD versus Joe here. Um. I think I gotta give JD the edge here. Uh. He just JD's just got like a super team, and I feel like it would be a super close matchup, but I feel like every time I face JD, just his pitchers have been outstanding, at least in our matchups the weeks we did, and so I guess I'm just expecting that from his team again. So yeah, I think I'd have to go JD there, and then. Leo versus Kyle. I have to go with Leo there for sure as well. Pretty confident in that answer. Leo's got a super team too, and yeah, both his bats and pitching are just phenomenal. So I gotta definitely go with Leo versus that matchup as well.
Alrighty. Leo, up next, you got me versus Joe, and then you versus Carter.
I mean, I have to take myself over Carter. I mean, I can't. I'm ride or die heartthrober. Till the end. So and then between you and Joe, I'm gonna have to give JD the edge here. I think that Joe didn't quite have the season that he wanted. I think you just needed like a couple more things to go your way. You had a lot of I don't want to say good luck, but just good fortune and good picks out of the stash. Um, but I think you were kind of missing maybe like that one like veteran type pitcher, two veteran type pitchers to really give yourself the pitching depth that you need. I think you've got some good like young arms that could pan out next year, but um, yeah, I mean, I don't know how JD you've done it. You just continue to win your matchups. I mean, obviously Cal Raleigh has been really, really solid. And yeah, your team's just built really well from from top to bottom here. Comeback player of the year, Merrill Kelly, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, uh, yeah, I have to give JD the edge.
Yeah,
So Joe.
I think that's completely fair, but I'm riding myself here. I am going to take down JD. I think it's going to be a close one, but I'll give you two names that I'm riding. I'm riding Nick Kurtz, and I'm riding you, Darvish. You brought up that veteran pitcher. I picked him up last minute. I'm going to ride him to the playoffs versus you. It's going to be you versus me, Leo, in the finals. Good luck.
I love it.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. You just beat me this week, so anything can happen, like we said. So, um, yeah, I'll play the same card, Joe. I have to ride myself. And and then I think I had Leo versus Kyle. Now that's an interesting one because I would rather play Kyle than Leo. So I kind of want to say Kyle just because that's what I want. Not anything about Leo, but because I definitely think Leo could win that easily. Not easily, but
Yeah,
it's up there. Like I don't want to play Leo, and therefore I'm picking Kyle.
it's a mind game thing. I get it.
Yes, that's a mind game.
Yep.
Um, so our finals, Carter has me versus Leo. Joe has himself versus Leo. Leo has me versus him, and then I have me versus Kyle. So who wants to pick the championship first? Joe, I
Yeah,
wonder who you'll pick.
yeah. You got to ride with yourself. You got to be confident. I'm taking the championship this year. I think my guys are going to come through right when I need them to. I'm expecting a 4-homer game again from Nick Kurtz. He's already done it once this year. Why not twice? I think that would be a first in history. So yeah, I'm riding. I'm riding Kerry Bonds all the way to the championship, taking it home.
Ride or die. All right, Carter.
So
You had
I
me
got
versus you.
yeah. So JD versus Leo. I think I'd have to go with Leo on this one. And that's simply just based off of sort of like the points you guys have both gathered throughout the season there. Leo takes the edge there with like the points sort of acquired throughout the entire season. So uh I think that would go similarly. Like the matchup is going to would be extremely close. It come down to the wire, but I think Leo might take a little bit of the edge there in the points.
Beauty.
I'm gonna echo Carter. I think it's gonna be an extremely close matchup. I do foresee Heartthrobbers versus Hawkins in the final. It could be the type of thing that it really comes down to the last day. I'm obviously, like you said, gonna like ride myself. Like everybody's kind of riding with their team. But I'm gonna be honest. I might be the first to admit, like I really could see JD coming out with it. Like I'm gonna pick myself, but um, I could see JD taking it. So many good arms. Hunter Green, Framber Valdez, Jose Barrios had a pretty good year as well. This league is way more about pitching than people realize. I think the that's what kind of separates the decent teams from the good teams. I'll say I don't think it separates the good teams from the great teams because I don't know. I think pitching is just that one thing that you have to have. Like everybody sees the rankings and it's like, there's not many pitchers ranked in the top 200, but it doesn't matter. Like you can go out and get a good bat off of free agents, but you can't just go get a good pitcher. So pitching is very important, and so that's why I would fear a matchup against the Hawkins in the finals.
Yeah, I think both JD and Leo had you guys both have super good uh pitching wise. Like you guys had both great pitchers, so it might be one of those things again, like we talked about earlier. It's gonna come down to those two start pitchers that week. Like if one of the other is just loaded with two start pitchers, that might determine the winner there.
Multi-week though too, so you might get 3 starts from a pitcher.
Your guys' championship is multi-week.
2 weeks for the ship.
Oh, no kidding.
I'm like 95% sure that's how it was last year. So unless the commissioner went and changed another rule without anybody knowing.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, I have to echo what Leo said, but just the opposite. So, all right. Well, that'll do it for our little kind of bracket buster challenge that we did here today. September Madness.
Concentrate. Just concentrate. Think up the middle. This one's going right over the front desk.
Introducing soft foam autograph bat and ball sets from Pizza Hut, featuring some of your favorite Major League players like Ken Griffey Jr. Get one set for $5.99.
I was safe.
Junior, bedtime. We've got a game tomorrow.
Do I have to?
Oh, man. Pizza Hut. You'll love the stuff we're made of.
He did it.
Episode 14, we're back with the standard squad of 4 right here, all coming to you from various parts of Michigan. We've got JD and Troy. I'm out here in Matty Heights. We've got Joe out there in Macomb and Carter up there in beautiful Standish, Michigan. Our neighbor to the north basically lives in Canada. And he's going to go ahead, Carter, and kick us off here as we do the Little Big Fantasy League grab bag. Carter had Pizza Hut for dinner, and he's going to give us a taste of those leftover questions from last week.
Yes. So I'm hoping you guys are a little familiar with him. It's someone that I wish I sort of grabbed, but have you guys heard of the player Jacob Barcy, who's kind of been climbing the rankings?
Yes, I do
Yeah?
know Miami
Totally,
Marlins.
my favorite player.
I cannot say that I know who that is.
Oh no! All right. Well, my trivia question
Oh, I know this
is
guy. Yeah.
It's about him. Yeah, he's on the Miami Marlins, and he's from Dearborn, Michigan. And I want to ask uh, if you guys knew what college did he play for here in Michigan?
That's a really good question. So I just looked him up and also saw that he is from Dearborn and went to Allen Park High School, which I don't know. That's not the same as Cabrini,
No, no,
but
that's
same city. Yeah, gosh, I don't know.
I'm trying to think of colleges that are in that area. I know of one that's not too far. So I'm gonna just do we are we like ripping a guess at the same time, or how do we want to do
Just
it?
go one by one. I have a guess. Does everyone have their guess locked in? Go ahead, Joe.
All right, I'm gonna guess Eastern Michigan.
I also am gonna go with Eastern Michigan. I was thinking maybe like Wayne State, but I feel like we'd know about it because Hunter Brown went to Wayne State.
Yeah.
So yeah, Eastern Michigan.
I don't know. I was just gonna say Michigan. It's probably not Michigan.
Nope. Oh man, zero out of three over here. No,
All right,
Wayne
all right.
State, Western.
Eastern was super close. It was a college up by more of my neck of the woods here, Central Michigan. He played baseball for.
Fire up chips.
Yep, fire up chips,
Yeah, fire
Zach
up those.
McKinstry.
Zach McKinstry. I didn't. I thought about guessing Central, and I just know that Eastern is like in Ypsilanti, which is kind of close.
I feel in my head, I don't know if it's like in real life sports, but in my head, Eastern and Central are like in like the same sort of league. So that answer is pretty close to me.
Yeah. All right. I'll take it. I'll take it.
I just saw his career. He's from Michigan, and yeah, a lot. He's been talked about a lot lately in like fantasy. So yeah.
Evidently,
Excellent.
I've not been paying attention enough.
Oh, the only reason I knew who he was is
You could have made up that player. I wouldn't have.
the other day, Megan was on Facebook Marketplace and she's like, "Oh, look, there's a lot of these baseball cards." She like showed it to me, and it was a lot of maybe like 9, 10 cards, and they were all different variations of Jacob Marcy. Like there's all of these like different like refractors and stuff like that, and the lot was going for like $180, and I was like, even if it was cheaper, I don't think I would get 9 cards of the same player that I don't know that much about, but okay.
All right, I got a follow-up trivia question based on Jacob Marcy, who I hadn't heard of, but I definitely recognize him, and I know he's been playing pretty well for the Marlins. So, looking at Jacob Marcy's baseball reference page here, he's played for various minor league teams, as we talked about. You know, played for Central Michigan. Also had a few years playing summer ball as well. So my question to you is, which summer ball team, which is located in Michigan, did Jacob Marcy play for back in 2022? As you're thinking
Lock
about
in
it,
answers.
I'll give you his stat line. 62 games
That's
played,
my
which was
answer.
probably, I'm sorry, 17 games played, 1 home run, 11 runs batted, and a 343 batting average. What was your guess, JD?
Or is it the pit spinners?
Okay, I got one guess for the Traverse City Pit Spitters, formerly the Traverse City Beach Bums.
That was the only summer ball team that I could think of, so I'm also going to go for the Traverse City Pittsburghers.
I got nothing here on my end, so let's go with those.
Not
That
USPB.
one answer.
That'd be funny.
Well, the correct answer is Jacob Marcy played for the Traverse City Pit Spitters back in 2022. Yep.
Strangely enough,
Wow.
so did former BFC graduate Chase Gearing.
That is correct. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they played on the same exact team. I'm about to do a real deep dive here. So actually, funny enough, this season, he actually played with a player that went to Spring Arbor, who I got to know pretty well. His name is Glenn Miller. He was a shortstop for us for a couple of years there. So he did play on Glenn Miller's team. SAU baseball shout out right there. But looking through the roster, he did not play with Chase. But crazy, the world of baseball, how small it can be.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
That is true.
Beauty. All right. Thank you for that, Carter. Thank you for that, Leo. Now, I'm going to throw it to Joe. We may or may not have a surprise hot take.
We do have one. Just a quick preface here. It's been a rough a year with the hot takes. I don't know if really any. I mean, a few of them have come true. For starters, one of them was 3 managers will be fired before the season is over, and that has already happened. It happened quite early on, actually. So that gets a big old check mark. Ones that probably are not going to come true here. The Athletics will make the playoffs. They are, as we speak, 9.5 games out of the wild card. So that one we could probably kiss goodbye. There's still a couple that are in the air. Dodgers get knocked out first round of the playoffs. That could still happen. Playoffs haven't started yet. Tigers are top 5 in home runs as a team. It's possible, but not probable. I believe the last time I looked, they were 9th. Could still happen, but we don't know. And then the last one that I had 2 more actually. Orioles missed the playoffs, finished 4th in the AL East. So it is looking like the Orioles will miss the playoffs this year. I got 4th wrong. We're looking at 5th for them as of now. 6.5.
It's not too late. It's not too late.
6.5 games out of 4th. So there's a chance that one could still come true if they get hot. And then Kyle Tucker does not sign with the Cubs. Instead, he becomes a Philly. Possible. He's kind of been slumping with the Cubs a little bit. So maybe come off season, he looks for a change of scenery. I don't know. That one's still on the table. But the hot take that I have on September 2nd, I believe the New York Yankees do not make the playoffs. Right now, they are the first team in the wild card. They got a 3.5 game lead in the wild card. But I believe they end up falling short. I believe their injuries start to stack up. I believe their errors start to stack up. And I believe the bats just don't have enough in them to carry them. The Red Sox hold second place. And they are also 3.5 games. They have a 3.5 game lead in the wild card over the Mariners. But I believe that the Yankees overtake them. The Mariners overtake the Yankees. And the Rangers actually slot into that 3rd spot. The Rangers are playing pretty good baseball right now, sitting at 72 and 67. They're a game and a half out of that 3rd wild card spot. And I believe the Yankees just slip, and they fall away and miss the playoffs for the first time, I believe, in quite a while.
Honestly, might be one of your more realistic hot takes there. I think it could very well happen. It's still a hot take. I'm not going to discount that. I think that is a definite possibility. Giancarlo Stanton's been pretty hot. I think he might cool off a little bit. I'd like to see Judge continue to perform the way he has, but yeah, I don't know if that pitching is quite experienced enough to carry them through at this point. Don't count the Royals out either.
Yep.
I could see them sneaking into the wild card. But yeah, the Yankees have been playing some pretty sloppy baseball. The equivalent to me in the National League would be the New York Mets. Two teams with pretty high expectations. I think the Mets had a little bit higher of an expectation this year after signing Juan Soto, but two teams where the fans expect a whole lot compared to your average fan base. I mean, the fans are just absolutely ruthless in New York. Will boo their own players that are performing well, even if they, happen to have a bad game. So, yeah, the Mets are kind of in that same position in the National League right now, where they're just hanging on to a wild card spot, but could very well fall out of it. So yeah, I like the take, Joe.
Yeah, and I feel like every day when I'm logging on Twitter, or X, I should say, it's another video of Anthony Volpe making an error on a relatively routine ground ball. Some of the plays definitely more difficult, but I swear there's at least one a day where he boots the ball, he makes a bad throw, he messes up the transfer. I believe he is either tied for the lead or in second place in errors this year, only possibly behind Ellie De La Cruz. And Ellie De La Cruz typically does it with the bat or on the base pass, so you can kind of look past those errors. Volpe's not great with the bat. So it's pretty glaringly obvious when he makes that mistake that he's a big scapegoat for a lot of the blame that Yankees fans want to give that team.
Yeah. I just was just looking at something because it came to mind just the thought of like strength of schedule the rest of the season, and the Yankees are the one of the teams with like one of the better paths. It said something like their final 13 games are against the Twins, the Orioles, and the White Sox. So
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
yeah,
Well, just
that
wait
might
until,
be their saving grace.
wait until those Orioles get hot and the White Sox figure out how to play a baseball game.
Yeah. Wait till Gunnar starts hitting bombs in the ninth inning. Just
Carrying Carter to the championship.
yeah.
So I like to take Joe, but I think that is one piece of evidence that could prove you a little wrong. But I like
It's definitely possible for sure.
I'm okay with the Yankees not being in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
ESPN and the higher ups that want ratings, they probably won't like it, but
Right.
I don't care. Alrighty. Any other final thoughts on that?
I think interesting to take that look back on some of the other hot takes that Joe has given throughout the season for sure. Definitely appreciate Joe just kind of laying it all out there, even though maybe sometimes, I don't know if you actually believe deep down that all these will come true, or if you're just kind of throwing them out there for, to stir the pot, but it's all good stuff.
Yeah, I'll tell you one that actually didn't get brought up that I really wanted to come true was the Rhett Lowder Cy Young. That one's coming back into my face and blowing up hard. He has yet to pretty much pitch at all this year. He struggled with injuries in spring training. While he was doing some rehab, he developed a new injury. So was rehabbing the first injury as well as that second injury. And then during that rehab, he yet again injured himself. A completely new injury this time. I believe he's injured not only his oblique, but his forearm and his shoulder. So really just getting beat up essentially by his own body. You hate to see it, but 2026 Cy Young campaign is still on.
Good luck with that, Joe. Yeah.
2026 is going to be his year.
Exactly.
Yeah, if his arm doesn't fall off according to your injury report.
Which is, it's possible. It is. Anything's possible, and it's definitely one of them.
Well, keep us updated. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for that little grab bag segment, guys. So we'll kind of close out here with any thought-provoking statements or shout-outs. Anyone want to go first?
I got a thought-provoking question just as I know we wrapped up the formal segment of grab bag, but I do want to throw out this thought-provoking question to everyone. JD, you look a little suspicious, like I'm gonna pull out like a deep cut or something here, but just been thinking about postseason baseball and kind of just going back to the trade deadline, what the Tigers did. I think some of the moves have paid off with Kyle Finnegan pitching really well. Morton's had a few bright moments here and there, nothing to write home to mama about. And then Chris Paddock obviously hasn't been very good. Those are just a few to mention, but my question is, if you could go back to the trade deadline and acquire one player from a team that will miss the playoffs or that you think will miss the playoffs, realistically, who would you go back in time and acquire?
Hmm.
Now think about it. The Tigers did not make a move for a bat. Beerling's out probably for the season. Meadows, we don't know how healthy he's going to be when he comes back. I think there are still some gaps here and there. Have they really locked down a third baseman? They're just calling up guys as the rosters have now expanded. Justin Henry Malloy comes back up. So, immediately I think of hitting, but want to get your guys' thoughts.
Does this player have to have actually been moved and my team just didn't do it?
No,
Or
it
be
can
like
be
an
somebody that you realistically think could have been on the trade block. Like, I don't know. Like you can't pull out like a James Wood. Like even though the Nationals aren't going to make the playoffs, like there's no way that the Nationals are trading James Wood. So going with somebody that you think realistically could have been a piece in the trade. Didn't even have to be in rumors, but somewhere in the ballpark.
got you, because my first answer right away was Nick Kurtz, but that never would have happened. That was
Yeah, don't be reaching. You're out there in like pin conning park right now. We need to get you back into like a major league ballpark.
Yeah.
right. Right. Um, yeah, I got one. I actually wish, and it's not a bat for the Tigers. I would have loved them to go out and get Shane Bieber. I think he was a better option than maybe the two starting pitchers that we did get in Charlie Morton and Chris Paddock. Was I upset with Chris Paddock and Charlie Morton? I didn't love the moves, but I wasn't upset thinking we had made a mistake. But I think if we would have gone out and gotten Shane Bieber, someone that maybe was a little more, um, I guess, established as a better starter, as opposed to Morton, who's definitely past his prime, and Chris Paddock, who just has never really shown those great numbers that I know Bieber could have. So I would say my answer would have been going out and getting Shane Bieber.
That's a great pick.
Ooh, I'm still looking.
Yeah, it's tough. Like it's tough to think what could be realistic. I mean, back when the rumors were swirling, like early on, the Red Sox were out of the playoff picture, and there was like the talks of even like Bregman coming to Detroit. Um, and then the Red Sox went on that hot streak, and obviously, like there was that just wasn't going to happen. So, I think of like Eugenio Suarez, another name that everybody wanted. I think he's been pretty good for Seattle. It's like, would he have pushed us over the edge? I don't know. I feel like the lineup is pretty solid. Like, it would have been cool to have a bat, but I still don't even know if that's like what we truly needed. And I think that Scott Harris's deadline shows that we were really pushing for pitching because our depth just wasn't quite there. So I'm kind of on Joe's side with more of like a starting pitcher. But I think I don't have a name yet. I like Shane Bieber. I think that's a really good one. I'm trying to think of somebody that would be comparable to Bieber.
Maybe Sandy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough
But
one because
that's a
it's
tough
like,
one because he's had
with
a
Bieber,
rough
you're
year.
taking on like the injury risk. With Sandy, you're taking on like the risk of him having like a few good, like really good starts, but then like crap in the bed for most of the season, as Carter knows all too well.
Oh yeah, I know very well.
If I had to pick a bat real quick, I think my bat pick would have been Naylor. Just a personal preference, but I just like a big lefty bat, and I think the Tigers have some big lefty bats that have power. I think Green is a great lefty bat. Obviously, Carpenter, good lefty bat. But I still would have liked to have gotten Naylor.
Yeah. I mean, one who got moved, I mean, to the Rangers, Merrill Kelly, like he's a
Yeah.
solid arm. That would have been a nice, like, I don't think, I wonder what was his price? I didn't even see what they traded him for.
I don't think it was much, but that's what I was just thinking of too.
That would have been a nice, like, he could have been a third starter and a playoff type pitcher, you know?
Three pitching prospects was the price.
Okay.
Looks like it was the number 5, number 9, and number 13. So that's pretty, like for the Tigers, that would have been pretty hefty, I think. Like Scott Harris made it pretty clear that he was not going to trade a top 5 prospect.
Yeah.
So I don't think that could have happened. I don't know.
Yeah, he seems it's like way too early in his tenure to want to trade away the guys that he specifically drafted and is trying to develop, you know.
Right.
So yeah, good question.
Yeah.
Joe, Carter, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I got two shout outs. I'll give a shout out to Rhett Lowder. May his recovery be as speedy and efficient. No more injuries. Hopefully that lie ahead for him. Hopefully it's all smooth sailing and healthy pitching, getting ready for next year's spring training. And my second shout out would be to my two pets that I got, Chunks and Beans, my two pet turtles. I'd like to give them a shout out to their new forever home.
How old do turtles grow to be, Joe?
They they could live for like 50 years. Turtles in captivity, these species of turtles can live to about 50 years. So
Wow.
I
Seriously?
I could have the yeah.
Fun trivia question or trivia fact. So in
Yes.
the film Rocky, he has two turtles named Cuff and Link, and that movie came out in 1976, and he still has Cuff and Link as his turtles.
No way.
There's real turtles, yeah.
Wow.
He still has them, Sylvester Stallone. Yeah.
Wow. That's a
incredible.
great fact.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So these guys could very well outlive me. Who knows?
Yeah.
Are you ready for that commitment? Because, like, there are alternatives. Like, a gypsy moth's typical lifespan is only about 1 year.
Oh. Maybe
You
I
didn't think
should
about
have
that one, did you?
No. I guess I should have consulted the expert, but
I don't know.
didn't.
Don't know about that one.
Good stuff, Joe.
And-
Thanks to your
and-
turtles.
That 1 year is slowly going down and down because they're suppressing them now. Let's just say that. But anyway,
Yeah.
I don't want to dive too much into the whole
This
like
isn't the
community
moth animal
development
podcast.
department.
Yeah. This isn't
Yeah, join Jeremy and I for the Moth Management podcast next Wednesday. All right, let's save it.
Did you guys end up deciding to call it the M&M's podcast?
Yeah.
Very
You heard
nice.
it here first.
We have chocolate. Join us.
Ooh.
Carter, what do we got?
Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, I didn't think of really something before this. I don't really have any shout outs. I know a fun just a little quick question, a fun question I asked Leo on our duo podcast. So I'll ask you and Joe here, but what would be your least favorite MLB logo on a team. Your least favorite. What do you find just straight ugh?
Like, what is my least favorite, or
Yeah,
what?
what's your personal least favorite?
I mean, right now, probably the Guardians, just because it's just a G.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna go with the St. Louis Cardinals, just the STL. I'm not a big fan of it. Um, Growing up, my grade school logo was the St. Louis Cardinals logo because we were St.
What?
Lawrence.
No way.
So it was literally just like, I think we actually got flagged for copyright by the St. Louis Cardinals because it was literally just their logo in a different color. So I'm gonna go with St. Louis Cardinals.
That's funny.
Something Standish would do, not down there, man.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, and we weren't the Cardinals or anything cool. We were the Mustangs, so I'm not sure why those two went
That's
hand in
probably
hand.
why they thought they'd get away with it.
Right. They're like, yeah, two different completely animals, right? Like, who cares?
Yeah,
St. Louis did.
good answer.
This question didn't air last week, right? This was an offline question. Is that
Oh,
right?
was it an offline question?
I don't remember. Does anybody remember?
I don't think it, I don't. I was gonna say I didn't remember.
I don't think it was when I watched it back. I think this was like an after call, Carter. That was probably when we hopped on Fortnite duos and we're playing ballistics, and then we started spewing out other questions.
Going hard on the ballistics.
For me,
Ye-
actually, I think my answer changes from last week. I think I said like Tampa Bay.
You did. You did.
But actually, I'm gonna go with the other Florida team. The Marlins have really downgraded. Like, take me back to 2003, man. Give me the good teal. Give me that Pudge Rodriguez uh, World Series year. You know, they had the nice black jersey, the teal, even the white with the black pinstripes. Those are some good looking uniforms. Like, give me Edgar Renteria, Josh Beckett. Goodness gracious. Uh, yeah, what a big downgrade. They've gone with the whole like Miami Vice look, but it's just doesn't work, man.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's definitely changed. They had like a
Good
more
deal.
classic looking fish back then too.
I sure did. There's rumors that the Orioles returned to their more classic bird logo, actually.
I saw that. I saw that just today. Yeah, that would be interesting too. I kind of like both. I like the cartoony bird and the old bird, and I'd like to see maybe like somehow a combination of both. Like I don't know if they like on the road the City Connects if they could do like the old bird logo and then the cartoon at home. I don't know if they could do that or not, but it'd be cool to get just like both of them working in tandem there. But for me, I went with the Twins, and I think I'm gonna keep that answer. I just for some reason I'm not a big fan of that logo there. I just think it kind of I like the color scheme. I like it's just the logo itself. I'm just not a huge fan of that one. But yeah,
Nice.
but yeah.
All righty. My last final thoughts is just it's a baseball podcast, but football season is coming through, so that's fun. And that's all I got. Go Lions. Forward down the field. And with that, that's going to do it for us with episode 14. Thanks for showing up, everybody. Good to see you, everybody. And in the meantime, thank you for tuning in. And never stop chasing your little big league dreams. Adios.